Hi, I'm Matthew Sherwood, a cardiology fellow at Duke and at the DCRI. And today I'm here with Dr. Matthew Rowe, who is an associate professor at Duke, as well as the director of clinical megatrials at the DCRI. So Dr. Rowe, I'd love to discuss with you the VISTA 16 trial and the design and how they're planning to study this new drug, Verasplatib, especially in light of the stability trial and the negative results we've had so far with drugs from this class.
Well, I think this anti-inflammatory class of compounds that somehow acts in the vessel wall or is thought to act in the vessel wall has always had great promise from preclinical studies or even some mechanistic studies in the phase 2 arena, but in phase 3 studies they just haven't panned out. So the question is there a role for anti-inflammatory therapies in the chronic management of atherosclerosis or vascular disease? And to date, the answer to that question would be no. But do these agents affect lipid parameters in some way that we're not measuring through standard lipid testing? If they reduce inflammation through measurements of CRP or other means, and that doesn't translate into clinical outcomes, does that disprove the inflammatory hypothesis of atherosclerosis? And it's hard to say, but I do think that we really need to take a step back and say, what drug classes and targets should we be evaluating in the future in this area, and how does that fit within the context of other medications that the patients should be on, such as beta blockers or ACE inhibitors or statins, and putting that all together into a context of trying to show incremental benefit.
Do you think this class of medications will be different, I hope, or any different from medications like ezetimibe or those that were designed to be put on top of statins and to help us get to our LDL goals, which may not be important anymore? Do you think this kind of drug will be more important or more effective than that?
So it's hard to know. I mean, the LDL hypothesis has, I think, been proven to some extent, that is lowering LDL from high targets to lower targets associated with improved outcomes. But do statins also have an anti-inflammatory component? Is that plus LDL lowering what's leading to the outcome reduction? And how do you dissociate that from each other? I think the class of drugs as PCSK9 inhibitors will help us to really address the LDL hypothesis, fill in the gaps of evidence that were acknowledged by the guidelines, really help us understand that this pure LDL lowering on top of standard therapies improve outcomes. And then the inflammation part is just so much more complex, and the biological systems are so complex that I think we just don't know. And I think we need to do a better job in the early phase, maybe the mechanistic studies of designing studies that would really help us to understand, is there a benefit that would translate into outcomes in a larger study, and should we make that big investment to go to the larger study?
Well, really interesting. And to follow this late-breaking science, as well as other late-breaking clinical trials from AHA 2013, please visit the Duke Cardiology Fellows blog. Thank you.